Hey everybody, welcome to our North Greeley Avenue bike through. I'm really excited to bring you this video because I've been waiting for a long time for this project to be done, and I was just out there a day or so ago and it looks to be almost 100% complete. So just to refresh your memory, this is the project the city of Portland worked on with Adidas to bring a bikeway from Willamette Boulevard in the north all the way to about Interstate Avenue in the south. So that northern section is where we're on the Adidas campus, and I think they put in about $1 million to make this project happen. So that's the northern section where they've got those green, looks like tennis balls on the bike lane. You might have seen it already on BikePortland. And then the southern section between Going Street and Interstate is where the city of Portland worked to put that concrete wall separated bike lane, that Jersey barrier protection there that's really nice. So you might remember back in May, I did a video that showed how the work zones are pretty dangerous and there was a lot of incomplete stuff in the project. So I was really happy to go back a few days ago and see that it's pretty much all the way done. There's a few signalization tweaks I think that the city's still working on. For the most part, it's ready to ride. So let's get out there and check it out. So the new bike lanes start right off of the nice Willamette Boulevard neighborhood greenway route, which is on the bluff, relatively car-free. Hey, you turn right here onto the new bike lane. As you can see, it's got nice separation between the walking space on the right and the two-way bike space, which is what I'm on right now. And we're physically separated with trees and a curb from the car traffic, so from drivers. So this is really good, high quality stuff here at the northern end of Greeley. Again, we're just south of Willamette, heading southbound. And here's the crossing. So they're using the green color, which is the bike color. We have one driveway here. You can see to the right, someone's backing out, but getting onto this fully painted, this is a two-way, physically protected bike lane. As you can see to the left here of the screen, there is a concrete curb with plastic wands. So that's a relatively robust protecting element there. And again, this whole project was a partnership with Adidas. So right here, we're going through the Adidas campus. So that's the big footwear company. This is their North American headquarters. And we're coming southbound on the new bikeway here. As you can see, this is a floating bus island right here. So the bus actually services the stop out in the main lanes of traffic there. And we are staying in the bike lane, and they don't have to, the bus drivers don't have to pull over to service the stop and encroach in the bike lane. Now, another sort of interesting thing you'll see here is that right in front of me, you'll see that storm drain grate right by the bicycle symbol. What happened for some reason is that there is a larger bump than I think the engineers should have made. And it's pretty clear they had to make some sort of bump there for the storm water, and then they had to, for ADA reasons, it had to come back up. This bike lane had to come back up to meet the curb and be flush with the curb so that bus riders and wheelchairs and other folks could get over to the bus island. Now, in order to do that, they made this bump way too severe. So that was a mistake, because I experienced that when I first started riding on here, was that you're coming down at a pretty good clip, 20 miles an hour maybe, since you're downhill, and you hit this bump. So not ideal, and it's definitely not ideal to spend a few million on a bikeway and then have to go put this big ugly orange bump sign in here. That's too bad. Another thing we just went through was a nice bike only signal. So this signal by the driveway that we just went through has bike only signals to separate the phases so that nobody turns into that parking lot and right hooks a bike rider. So continuing southbound, still in this nice wide green painted lane. Now again, this is two-way bike traffic, but one direction is going uphill and one direction is going downhill. I mean, that's good and bad, right? So that's bad because the people going downhill are gonna have a lot of speed, but it's kind of good in a way because the people coming uphill are not gonna have much speed, so conflict should not be too big of a problem. Here's another bike only signal, although there's not really an intersection here, this is just a T intersection. We're still separated by this concrete barrier to my left, so the feeling is really good. I think it feels great. I've ridden this with my 10-year-old son, and we can have a conversation, ride side by side, no problem at all. So it feels really safe. And like I said, this was a Adidas project, so it's funny, the paint ends as soon as their campus ends. So we're still headed south here. We're coming up on North Going street, which in this place heads down to Swan Island. So right ahead of us is the main Swan Island entry, and Swan Island is a massive industrial sanctuary where a lot of, we have Daimler, FedEx, UPS, obviously the rail yards are there. So that's what you're looking at as we're heading south. But I wanted to point out something here. This is another floating bus island. So again, PBOT did a great job designing this, and no buses have to service all the way to the curb, so the bike lane is gonna stay unobstructed. And as you go up here, there's a brand new crossing that goes over to a new path down to the going street bike lane, or the going street path, I should say, down to Swan Island. And this is how they want you to use it. Apparently, so there's no signal here. All there is a pedestrian crossing and this crosswalk. Now, I'm not sure I'm not sure if this pedestrian crossing is signalized or if there's a way to hit that button. Oh, it looks like there's a button behind me. I'm not gonna hit it because that's annoying. So this is not ideal. I'm gonna have to cross here with no signal and just find a break in what is relatively pretty high-speed traffic. So I'm gonna scamper across Greeley here onto this new path that they've made. So this is a protected path, and I'll show you how it connects when we come up, but this is a path winding down to Going Street. So staying with the two-way bike lane, you lose the concrete protection here, which is not ideal. But then again, the street next to it, those lanes are not as fast as Greeley, so really not that big of a problem. This is a pretty small street, low volume, the driving traffic is not going fast. But there used to be a bike lane on the other side, but they switched everything over and made this a two-way bike lane on the south side of this little sort of going off ramp that goes up to Willamette. So at the end of it here, you can see it comes into a grade separated path. Again, still two-way. If I was hitting this at full speed, I'd have to be careful to hug the inside so that I didn't hit anybody coming up. And then right here, I could stay on this sidewalk. I could go left and go up to Interstate. I can stay on this sidewalk, and this sidewalk is gonna take me down to Swan Island, which is a whole nother episode. So I'm gonna turn around for today and head back up. So now we're going up this new path, this new two-way path. I'm gonna get back onto Greeley and head down, and I'll show you the connection to the new concrete bike lane, which has been there for a while now, but I did want to also test out the new traffic signal, the new bike signal. It's been hit or miss for months now, and I just want to see if they've actually finally fixed it. So I'm going to go back up here. So now I'm headed west, essentially, toward Forest Park, up toward Greeley, on a two-way, sort of protected bike lane here. I've got my plastic wands. Oh, this is not great. Kind of necks down here awkwardly into a narrower path, and I come up here. Oof, this is really bad. I don't know what that little section is, but it really narrows everything. I'm gonna hit this button because it's right next to me. But this path here, I guess, would take me back to the concrete wall, so the Jersey barrier separated path on Greeley. That's what this would take me down to if I kept going to my left here. It gets pretty narrow here, unfortunately, so if I had a big bike, big cargo bike, or if I was pulling a trailer, that would not be ideal. Okay, so I am still waiting for this signal here. Wait. So that I can go west across Greeley. Boy, I don't know how many people are gonna wait that long, but let's hope they do. Heading across Greeley to catch the bike lane. I'm gonna head south. And what I wanna do here is test this really tricky crossing. So Greeley is a relatively large street, pretty good speeds, 40 to 50 miles an hour, 45 mile an hour. And the design of this, since they have this two-way bike lane, and the downside of two-way bike lanes is that eventually you're gonna have to cross over in an awkward way. So this is that tricky crossing, a diagonal crossing of Greeley. I'm pulling up to the bike light here. Look at that, it sensed me right away, and it's already green, and so I can just pull right out. And I'm crossing diagonally, so this is a bike-only signal phase. I just have to trust that everybody else in this intersection obeys their lights, or if they don't, then we'll have a problem. But that takes me right to the new, not new anymore, they've been here for a while, but these are the Greeley Jersey wall you can see there, Jersey barrier, separated bike lane. So I'm gonna turn back around and do that all again. We're gonna see how this all connects up. If I wanna go to Swan Island, I go straight and I stay on that sidewalk. Let's go try that. So I'm gonna head to Swan Island from Greeley. I'm gonna go up on the sidewalk, like it says, oh, sorry, up on the sidewalk, and then it's gonna take me down to a brand new little bike lane. Now, if this was a busy sidewalk, this would not be ideal because you don't really wanna mix bike riders trying to get somewhere with people waiting on the bus and people walking. So that's not great, but here we go. It's not super busy now. So, and now we're coming up to the new section, which you'll see here. This is a nice protected corner here. It gets pretty narrow, unfortunately, but so again, this is where we just were. And this new bike lane turns into a nice protected path down there and gets you onto the sidewalk going down to Swan Island. So pretty great. If you want to get to going from northbound Greeley, which is essentially running perpendicular straight in front of me, what you'd have to do, what Peabot has designed this for you to do, is to take that crosswalk right there on the right and get up on the sidewalk, get up on that distant sidewalk. If you can look at that sign up at the right there, it says use sidewalk. The problem is, see, use sidewalk. The problem is it's not really intuitive, and a lot of bike riders aren't going to be looking up at that sign. They're going to be right here headed north, and they're going to continue north straight up through this intersection, and they're going to find themselves in sort of no man's land without a path to get down to Going Street. So that's not ideal. It's not a perfect design, but what are you going to do? Okay, now I want to show you northbound Greeley, and I want to get over to the bike lane on the left side of the street. So I've got to negotiate this signal here, which is a bike-only signal, and it has a blue indicator, the blue LED indicator, to show me that it sees me. But if you can see there on the far left, the bike signal is red and now it's green. And I just pulled up, so that shows me that it's rather pretty good, pretty responsive. So here I am going diagonal across Greeley, which feels very stressful. Even though I have a signal, I just hope everybody else obeys theirs. And here I am connecting to the new bike lane. That was pretty easy. Nicely done. Again, as long as everybody obeys their signals, no one's going to get hurt. But that could be, I don't know, I hope it's not a big if, although sometimes I don't have much confidence in people to obey the signals. And we are going northbound on the two-way bike path on Greeley. The Going Street is right underneath me at this point, so we're on the overpass. So this is southbound Greeley. As you come to the if you wanted to go down to the Going Street, you can see here, the city says use Ped Crossing. So you would, I guess, stop in the bike lane, which is not ideal because there's other people in the bike lane coming behind you. You might have a collision, or somebody may not stop, so that's not ideal. But essentially, I guess what they're saying is to come here, use the Ped Crossing. Now this is the Ped Crossing. The problem is if you're on a bike, there's no bike signal here, and they would expect you to, I guess, get off your bike or walk your bike over to here and, I guess, see this beg button so that you could press it to get the signal, which nobody on a bike's gonna do. So bikers are gonna come here, if they even see this, they're gonna sit at this crosswalk and they're gonna make a big gamble to try to cross this really high speed, dangerous street where people aren't gonna be expecting someone to come out. And so what this crossing does, again, if you're sort of not oriented, this is the crossing that's going to take you to that new path that's going to head down to Going Street. Okay, so what did you think? Personally, I think this is a huge step forward for the Bikeway network. It's going to really help connect people in North Portland and all the neighborhoods in the peninsula into downtown on a pretty much fully protected bikeway. So I'd love to hear your opinion, or especially if you've ridden it, let us know how it has been going for you. And of course, if you liked the video, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next one. And as always, thanks for watching.